Good day everyone. I am back with another video about this compact 35mm prime lens. It's been a long time since I posted that video as I've got so busy with other stuff, but here we are. So I picked up this lens, the Sony Zeiss 35mm f2.8 ZA, late last year, as I wanted to have a minimalist setup for travel. I am indeed very grateful on how easy and light to carry this on my Sony a7 III. Well, that first video was definitely a hit. If you are following this channel, you might have seen it already. Otherwise, I've linked it below. Going back to this lens, that span of time allowed me to capture more photos from this beauty. I even photographed a wedding last March, along with the Samyang 135mm f1.8 AF. To be honest, I never really planned to have this. I have a more flexible Tamron 70 to 28mm f2.8, but I somehow find it quite big for my travel. At the end, I was torn between this and the Samyang 35mm pancake lens. I did actually skip that as I already have the Samyang 135 f1.8 portrait lens. I chose the Zeiss 35mm because of my very good experience with the 55mm f1.8 version, which is impressively very sharp. But please, don't get me wrong. The Samyang 135mm is my favorite telephoto lens due to its performance. I have more than a couple of videos about this on my channel if you're after this kind of lens. I do believe that the size of this lens will also benefit any videographers alike. And speaking of videography, if you're looking for a compact wireless video transmission system, look no further than this TP Mini from Shimbol. It's a set of a lightweight receiver like this, with its parts and buttons, and features a dual HDMI ports and a USB-C for power, and the transmitter with the built-in ports and buttons as of the receiver, both with a built-in battery plate at its back. As you can see, they are both similar in size. It also comes with a spare USB-C cable for power input. This set correlates with the size lens that I'm reviewing here, as this is also very lightweight and compact. Identical ports as mentioned, plus a standard tripod screw thread size for mounting. And since this set is so small and compact, they are very easy to carry and transport and can fit to just any ordinary packets. It's even smaller than my iPhone 13 mini. Putting them side by side will let you visualize how tiny it really is. The connection is very straightforward. You can connect the receiver to a monitor via the HDMI. The USB-C port adapts to any 5 volts power source. The transmitter and the receiver have both built-in antennas that operates through line of sight up to a distance of 500 feet. Connecting the transmitter to my camera is fairly easy too. I tried this on a gimbal, but there's also so many ways to mount this. Well, for sure your setup might be better than mine. And here it goes. It works like a charm. So that's the TP Mini from Shimbol, a compact wireless video transmission system. Get yours now for just $89. Going back to the Zeiss 35mm, I am very pleased with the sharpness and contrast of this lens on my first video. Let's have a look at some more images I've taken this year. So starting with this one, I like how it renders the perspective of this scene. As I mentioned before, it's not too wide to distort the corners of an image and not too very close to lose some part of the scene. I shot this one against an airplane window, so the contrast might have been affected, but overall, it's a good angle. Another one is this moonshot here, a very simple composition. But I do like how it shows the scale between the moon, the clouds, and the vastness of the skies. Here's another composition taken from a building and against a very clear glass window. It was an overcast weather during that time, which is perfect for this kind of look. And since it's quite gloomy and no sun on sight, you can immediately notice how sharp and contrasty this photo looks like. This next photo is just on the same street, and with the sun peeking for a very quick second. It's still very contrasty, and also you can notice that all the lines are very straight, even in the far edge corners. This photo taken from another block shows how sharp it really is. I also love the color science from this Zeiss lens. This is shot at f2.8, and also, as I mentioned from my first video, the sharpness from f2.8 is mostly identical all the way to f5.6. So one of the traits that this glass is really good for is environmental portraits. It beautifully aligns the subject and the background, giving emphasis on where they are. 35mm at f2.8 doesn't blur the background too much. Well, I can also do this with my Tamron 17-28, but corners might look a bit stretched due to distortion from that ultra-wide lens. This is the iconic Sydney Opera House in Australia. If I zoom in at 100%, I can clearly see the clarity and details on the roof section. It's really such a breeze to carry this camera setup on a trip like this. It's very discreet and doesn't look really intimidating at the same time. It can capture really good photos, which almost looks like from the human eye perspective. And I am stressing this again, it is so sharp and contrasty. As a pixel peeper, I am very happy with the quality of photos I get with this lens. I also noticed that it's not prone to chromatic aberrations. That one is quite notorious on its big brother, the Zeiss 35mm f1.8. But of course, you can always correct those in post, if there's any. Here are some sample wedding photos I took a couple of months ago. Shooting against the light is not really an issue here. It still delivers very good and clean images. Usually you should get some green or purple fringing on shots like this, but I didn't get any at all. Also, a 35mm prime on event lets you get closer to the subject. When viewing a photo taken with it, it looks like you're just there, closer to them and part of the ceremony. And if there's still some space, you can also back off a little bit and you can get a very good full body portraits like this. Like this. And like this. I am pretty sure that there's plenty of 35mm out there. But in terms of compactness, this and the Samyang alternative secures that spot. For me, this will be my to-go lens in terms of travel photography. I can easily tuck this in my bag, or carry it freely without stressing my neck. I think my only gripe here is the price. It's still expensive being an old lens. If you manage to see a second hand and a good price, just grab it. Surely you won't get disappointed in terms of its handling and sharpness. Hey guys, again, thank you for staying this far. If this video had helped you in some ways, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Cheers!